Shit. This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Yo, what up, though, people? Like to welcome you back to the Keep the C Note podcast. As always, I am your boy Brown. This is the Week 15 NFL recap. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. This your first time tuning in, please hit the sub button. Everybody that's tuned in, please give it a thumbs up, hit the like button, and make sure you hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop new content. Fantasy football playoffs started for a lot of people this week. Shout out to you if you dominated in your first round matchup. If you took a L, I feel your pain. Trust me, I feel your pain. Week 15, we had a lot of shenanigans going on. Let's start it off. In Philly, you had the Eagles, best record in the league, playing the Bears. And shout out to the Eagles. It was a tough game, but they came away with the 25-20 victory. Jalen Hurts, he threw for 315 and 2 picks, but he did run for 61 yards and 3 touchdowns. A.J. Brown got busy, 9 catches, 181 yards. Yikes. Devontae Smith, 5 catches, 126 yards. Shout out to the Eagles. They are 13-1. Chicago, they put up a fight. Shout out to Chicago. Justin Fields, he threw for 152, 2 touchdowns, ran for 95 yards. Also, shout out to Justin Fields, 1,000-yard rushing season. He joins Vic, he joins Lamar Jackson. So shout out to Justin Fields. Byron Pringle, 2 catches, 39 yards and a touchdown. The Bears 3-11. Their season is over, but it's always entertaining to watch. Justin Fields do his little video game stuff. I'm just keeping it a C note. The NFC South, we all know that they are horrible. Nobody wants to win that division. I don't think no team in that division wants to go to the playoffs. That's what it seems like. New Orleans, they was hosting the ATL. Shout out to New Orleans. They came away with a 21-18 victory. Andy Dalton, he threw for 151, 2 touchdowns. Kamara had 91 yards on the ground. And Rashid Shaheed, 3 catches, 95 yards and a touchdown. The Saints are 5-9, and everybody is still alive in the NFC South. Yikes. ATL also fell to 5-9. Mariota got benched. They wanted to see what they had with the kid Desmond Ridder. He threw for 97 yards. Shout out Tyler Algier. He got busy, 139 yards and a touchdown. Drake London, 7 catches, 70 yards. Again, ATL was also 5-9, and nobody from that division wants to make the playoffs. I'm just keeping it a C note. That's what it looks like. But yeah, though. Shout out Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. They've won like 5 out of 6 coming into week 15. This week, it was a lot of talk about how Jared Goff would perform in the cold weather because he hasn't done good in the cold weather. They went Jersey to play the Jets. The Jets had to turn back to Zach Wilson because Mike White got hurt. Shout out Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. They have now won 6 out of 7 games. They came away with a 20-17 victory. Jared Goff threw for 252 and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift, 52 yards on the ground. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 catches, 76 yards. Don't look now, but the Lions are back to 500. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They are 7-7. The hope is still alive that the Lions can make the playoffs. What's your thoughts on it? Will the Lions make the playoffs? Are y'all believing in Jared Goff? Are you believing in the Detroit Lions? Keep it a C note. Zach Wilson didn't have a bad game. He threw for 317, 2 touchdowns, an interception. They did nothing on the ground. Zonovan Knight, 23 yards. Garrett Wilson, 4 catches, 98 yards. The Jets are now 7-7 too, people. I don't know. I said it on last week's recap. I think, the Jets got what they're going to get out of this season. I think these next couple weeks they may keep things competitive, but I don't think they will make the playoffs. What's your thoughts? Is that no cap? Should you call me a Uber? Keep it a C note. Let me know. We had Mitch Trubisky, pardon me. He got the start this week. Pittsburgh was in Carolina. Carolina coming off an upset win. Tomlin's still trying to have a winning season. A slight hope alive. And they kept that hope alive. Pittsburgh came away with a 24-16 victory. Mitch Trubisky threw for 179. Najee Harris, he got busy, 86 yards and a touchdown. And Deontay Johnson had 10 catches, 98 yards. The hope is still alive for Mike Tomlin. Pittsburgh Steelers are now 6-8. Carolina, they fell to 5-9, but again, they're NFC South, so every team is still in play for the playoffs. It's crazy, but that's how it is. Sam Darnold, he threw for 225 and a touchdown. They did nothing. I mean, nothing on the ground. Chuba Hubbard, 10 yards on the ground. Yikes. DJ Moore, 5 catches, 73 yards and a touchdown. Keep it a C note. Who you got? Does Brady make the playoffs by default? Yes, no. Let us know. The upset of the day, or what most people would say is an upset because, it may not be an upset to everybody, but the upset to most people happened in Jacksonville. The Jaguars, they were hosting Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Jacksonville still trying to stay alive, and another South division is bad. That's the AFC South. That division is still up for grabs. Shout out Jacksonville. They came away with the 40-34 victory. Walk-off fashion. You know what I mean? We'll get into that. Trevor Lawrence, he got busy. He threw for 318, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Travis Etienne, he had 103 yards on the ground. And Zay Jones got busy. I mean busy, like scary busy. 6 catches, 109 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yikes. And I know they got Christian Kirk on the team, but after touchdown 1 or 2, I'm just saying, where was Diggs at? Cowboys Nation, keep it a C note. Where was Diggs at after that first or second touchdown? Dak Prescott. I just was grinding Dak Prescott up on last week's recap. I had to go back and forth with a couple fans from Cowboys Nation because I said I don't think Dak Prescott does good at reading, going through his reads, going through his progressions. He locks on one guy. That was my thoughts. They grind me up for it. But, I was keeping it a C note. Dak Prescott, he threw for 256, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, including it walk-off interception. It was a pick 6. Yikes. Tony Pollard, he had 75 yards on the ground. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches, 126 yards. Dallas falls to 10-4 in the division. They got the Eagles coming up next. This I don't know. I'm gonna keep it a C note. I don't know if I've said it before. I may be on record for saying it before, but I will say it now. The Dallas Cowboys, I don't care how good their defense is. I don't care how good their running backs are. The Dallas Cowboys will never, ever win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott as their quarterback. I'm just keeping it a C note. You can call it hate. You can say I'm hating, but Eagles fans, Sixers fans, they'll tell you usually when I keep it a C note and say never ever, then it's never ever. I'm just keeping it a C note. Cowboys Nation. Dak Prescott, what, 5 interceptions in the last 2 weeks? They had to win at the end against Houston, and they lost at the end in Jacksonville. AFC South teams that are both below 500. Is it panic time in Dallas? Is it Cooper Rush time in Dallas? Keep it a C note. Let me know. Shout out to KC. KC, they was trying to clinch the AFC West for the 7th straight year. They've been dominant in that division. They were in Houston, and they got into a fight in Houston, went to overtime, but they did come away with the 30-24 victory. Patrick Mahomes, 336, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco, 86 yards on the ground. Shout out Travis Kelce, 10 catches, 105 yards. I believe they said he moved in front of Shannon Sharp on the tight end list for receiving yards, people. Shout out to Jerick McKinnon. He got busy. If you had Jerick McKinnon in fantasy football, shout out to you. He had a touchdown, a receiving touchdown. He also had the walk-off touchdown in overtime. Jerick McKinnon definitely got busy. Shout out to him. Davis Mills, he threw for 121 for Houston and 2 touchdowns. He had got 51 yards on the ground from Freeman. And Chris Moore, he threw for 4 catches, 42 yards. Houston is 112-1. Yikes. Since Deshaun Watson left, it has looked dark in Houston. I'm just keeping it a C note. The game in Denver, you had the Broncos, you had Arizona, both backup quarterbacks in. Denver with a nice little defense. Shout out to the Broncos. They came away with the 24-15 victory. Their defense got at it today. Brett Rippon, 197 yards, touchdown, interception. We had a Latavius Murray sighting. He ran for 130 and a touchdown. And Jerry Jeudy, 7 catches, 76 yards. Denver's 4-10. Arizona also fell to 4-10. McCoy got knocked out of the game. They went with Tracy McSorley, who did nothing. James Conner, 63 yards on the ground and a touchdown. And DeAndre Hopkins still got 7 catches for 60 yards. Arizona's fell to 4-10 and are officially eliminated from the playoffs. Ain't that crazy? We're in week 15 and a 10-loss team is just getting officially eliminated from playoff contention. What a season. I'm just keeping it a C note. The Airhead game of the day, the Airhead play of the day, what happened in the Vegas game. Shout out to the Raiders. They were hosting New England. They came away with the 30-24 victory. Derek Carr, he threw for 231, 3 touchdowns, an interception. Josh Jacobs, 93 yards on the ground. And Keelan Cole, 2 catches, 50 yards, a touchdown. Debatable touchdown. I'm just keeping it a C note. It looked like part of his toe was out, but, I ain't a referee. Vegas falls to 6-8, but it's not the touchdown that won them the game. Mac Jones, he threw for 112. Ramondre Stevenson got busy, but he may have caused a bad play. He may be the reason for the bad play. I'm going to ask y'all. Ramondre Stevenson had 172 yards and a touchdown. Jacoby Myers is the other person in this equation. He had 2 catches, 47 yards. The game is tied 24-24. New England doesn't have no timeouts. They're just going to go to overtime. Ramondre Stevenson busts up, play up the middle. And instead of just going down and going to overtime, he tosses it back to Jacoby Myers. Now, Jacoby Myers could have went down, but instead he runs back 5-10 yards, and then he tries to throw the pass, a backwards pass to, I guess it was Mac Jones. I don't know. I don't know. It was a bonehead play. Chandler Jones picked it up. Deuces. He's in the end zone. Keep it a C note. Pick one, clip one. Who gets the blame for that play? Is it Ramondre Stevenson for even passing it back to Jacoby Myers? Or is it Jacoby Myers for throwing the pass backwards to Mac Jones or his offense? I don't know who he was, but keep it a C note. Who gets the blame on that? I'm going to say Jacoby Myers, even though Ramondre Stevenson shouldn't have threw it back. Once Jacoby Myers seen he had nowhere to go, he should have just went down instead of trying to lateral the pass backwards. That's just my thoughts, but what's your thoughts? Keep it a C note. Let me know. The Chargers, they was hosting Tennessee in SoFi Stadium. Chargers still chasing a playoff spot. And shout out to the Chargers. They came away with the 17-14 victory. Justin Herbert, he threw for 313, 2 interceptions. Austin Eckler, he had 58 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 8 for 86 yards. But the biggest catch of the day came from Mike Williams to get him in field goal range to when they can kick a game-winning field goal. Tannehill for Tennessee. When it rains, it pours. Tannehill left the game. He came back to the game. He threw for 165 and a touchdown. Derrick Henry ran for 104 yards and a touchdown, and he also had 4 catches, 59 yards. Tennessee is 7-7, people. Yikes. I mean, I know we got Tennessee Titans fans out there. How y'all feeling about your team? I mean, I know we've been dealing with injuries, but the whole league been dealing with injuries. How y'all feeling about this team? Will the Titans win the AFC South? Keep it a C note. And if you say no, then who will win the AFC South? Keep it a C note. Let me know. They said this was a passing of the torch game. We had Joe Burrow in Tampa to take on Brady. I seen on one of them sports analyst shows before Week 15 started that Brady has gone on a cycle this year and lost to all the up-and-coming quarterbacks. And now he's lost to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow and the Bengals came away with the 34-23 victory. And they were down 17-3 at halftime. Yikes. Burrow threw for 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, an interception. Samaje Perine, he had 24 yards on the ground, and Jamar Chase had 7 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. The Bengals are 10-4, and they're still streaking. That team is hot, people. I'm just keeping it a C note. Brady, interesting first half. Tampa got busy. They were moving the ball. They were looking back like they were in rare form. Second half, turnover. Brady threw for 313, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Fournette ran for 44 yards, and Chris Godwin, 8 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. First half, Mike Evans got busy. I don't know where Mike Evans went the second half. I don't even know if he had a catch in the second half, but he definitely disappeared. Tampa Bay is 6-8. And, by virtue of this trash division, still in first place with a game lead. Yikes. Sunday Night Football. Controversy at the end of the game. You had the Giants. They was in Washington. Take on the Commanders. Fresh off a tie 2 weeks ago. And shout out to the Giants. They came away with the 20-16 victory. Daniel Jones, he threw for 160. Saquon Barkley, 87 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Richie James, 4 catches, 42 yards. The Giants are 8-5-1. As for Washington, Taylor Heineke, he threw for 249, a touchdown, but he did have a couple fumbles, key fumble towards the end of the game. Brian Robinson Jr., 89 yards on the ground, and Jahan Dotson, 4 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. Washington falls to 7-6-1. They're still in the playoffs as of right now. They're the 7th seed. But at the end of the game, fourth down play, Heineke threw the ball in the end zone. Clearly, the Giants defender was holding the wide receiver from making a play on the ball, jumping up for the ball. No flag at all. That was horrible play call, and I'm just keeping it a C note. But again, I am no referee. What's your thoughts on it? I don't care if you're a Washington fan, if you're a Giants fan, if you're a fan of football. Sunday Night Football, was that pass interference to end the game? Keep it a C note. Scary Terry, shout out to him, Terry McLaurin, went over 1,000 yards. This is his 3rd straight year going over 1,000 yards. Shout out to CD Lamb, another NFC East guy. He went over 1,000 yards for the season, both in the losing effort. Now we got A.J. Brown, first wide receiver in Week 14 for the Eagles in years to get 1,000 yards. The Giants don't really have nobody. I don't know if you want to put Darius Slayton in the mix. Most people would say A.J. Brown is the top receiver in the NFC East. But keep it a C note. Let's go to top 4, and it don't have to be by each team. Who's the top 4 wide receivers in the NFC East? If you got A.J. Brown at 1, who's the second best wide receiver? Keep it a C note. Let me know. Of course, I'm not going to put anybody from the Giants in. So I will say at number 4, Devontae Smith from the Eagles. At 3, just barely, I got CD Lamb. At 2, and I debated this hard pause, I got Terry McLaurin at 2, and at 1, I got A.J. Brown slightly. The reason why I have Terry McLaurin over CD Lamb and slightly behind A.J. Brown pause is because 3 straight years, 1,000 yards. He's had Heineke. He's had Wentz. He's had the guy from Walmart. He's had everybody as a quarterback, and it don't matter. He just gets busy. You got to give credit where credit is due. CD Lamb definitely gets busy. He should have more yards this year, but, we don't know in the past. He's always had Dak. He's had Amari Cooper. He's always had a good running game. Washington ain't had nothing. You know the ball going to Terry McLaurin, and a lot of times he's still going to get his. So, I got him as number 2. But what's your thoughts, people? Top 4 wide receivers in the NFC East right now. Keep it a C note. MVP list did not change for me this week. I still got Josh Allen at 3. I still got Cool Joe Burrow at 2. And I got Jalen Hurts. But I'm telling you, Joe Burrow week by week is gaining on Jalen Hurts. I'm just keeping it a C note. Monday Night Football. You got the Rams at Green Bay. Keep it a C note. Who you got? Green Bay season pretty much over. Rams season pretty much over. Do we have another Baker Mayfield movie? Does Aaron Rodgers get out on Sean McVay and the guys? Keep it a C note. What's your thoughts? You see the hoodie, so you know where I'm going. I'm saying I'm a rider to the wheels fall off. Pause. Well, I'm rocking with my boys. in the wind, and I heard it's supposed to be cold out there. But keep it a C note. Before I end the show, let me ask you this, right? Because I have this conversation with somebody, and I think that it's a brainwashing thing. I was talking to somebody who said, don't nobody want to come to Philly and play when it gets cold in the playoffs, especially not none of them teams that play indoor, those teams from hot cities. And my reply to that would be two things. That's not true because every year somebody goes to Lambeau Field and beats the brakes off of Aaron Rodgers. California team did it last year with San Fran. So I don't think that matters. But let me ask Eagles fans this because the same person said something that totally did not make no sense. He said, yeah, Jalen Hurts look a little bad right now. The Eagles look a little bad because it's a little cold for them in Chicago. And I'm looking, I'm like, well, you're the same person that's saying don't nobody want to come to Philly when it gets cold. But here's a fun fact when everybody says those type of things. I can see you say it with Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers has won playoff games. But let me say this when the Eagles fans say nobody wants to come to Philly and play this team when it gets cold. First of all, Jalen Hurts is not from anywhere where it's cold at. He's never played where it's cold at. He's from where it's hot at. And they only had one playoff game with Jalen Hurts, and that was in Tampa Bay last year. So he's never played a meaningful game when it gets cold in Philly. And if you look at the other guys, I don't know about A.J. Brown or where none of them is from, but I'm pretty sure they're not from where it's cold at. So sometimes we got to listen and understand the stuff we say. Like, you can't just be repeating stuff because that theory has been out the window for years. I don't even know why people still say that. Again, Aaron Rodgers is the perfect example of that. Number one seed every year, below zero in Lambeau Field every year. And every year he goes home. Mostly the California teams. I'm just keeping it a C note. I'm going to wrap this episode up, though. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, if this your first time tuning in, shout out to you. Please hit the sub button. Make sure you hit the like button. And also, man, go ahead and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop new content. This week coming up, we got the 100th episode. So shout out to everybody that's been around with us to make it to 100 episodes. Shout out to everybody that just came on board. Salute to everybody. As always, I am your boy Brown. Please tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell everybody. Keep it a C note. I holla at y'all.
Shit. This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like.